Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode and it's a special episode of Is It Worth My Time? This time around, Wonder Woman 1984, which was released both in theaters and also HBO Max. I watched it on HBO Max, of course, because I'm not going into a theater anytime soon. Also, there's going to be a contest in this one as well, and I'll get to that at the end of all of this stuff. But before I get started, let me take care of some business and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does, it takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. Also, if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance for YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tier set up in the Patreon because I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers. That way, when you give me money, I will give you something in return. Also, I have all of the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Hi, Stanley. Hey, Jody. All right, let's get to it. The non-spoiler version. So this is the spoiler-free version. You don't have to worry about this at this point. It's a 2.5 hour long movie that doesn't really have that much plot going on in it. It's not as good as the first movie, and I kind of checked out on a few times during this movie. And I started watching this at, I want to say around like 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. And yes, I agree with you, Stanley. It did feel very, very long. There's a couple times I actually checked my phone and go, how fucking long is this? And I'm like, oh, okay. And the scenes don't really, there's a lot of heavy-handed messages to it. Also, I know it's supposed to be an homage to the 80s kind of thing, and it's not done well. Yeah, and there's a couple other problems too, which I'm going to get to in the spoiler version of it that kind of disturbed me. But if you watch the first movie and you really like the first movie, you might be disappointed by the second one. So I'm going to say no, it's not worth your time. Um, that's where I'm sticking with on this. I've only seen it the one time. I really don't want to go back and watch it again, to tell you the truth. It wasn't one of those things that made me want to see it again. I watched the original, the first one, recently, probably about 2 weeks ago, something like that, and it's good. I mean, there's Patty Jenkins likes to crib from other movies, especially the Donner Superman movies. She cribs from a lot, and she does it again in this as well. Not to say that's a taking away point on this, that it subtracts from the movie. I love the Donner movies. Those are my favorites. But yeah, you kind of want to make it your own kind of thing, and yeah, this kind of failed for me as far as I was concerned. So yeah, Stanley, that's exactly what you're saying. It felt like a Richard Donner Superman movie, a bit, yeah. So, and I agree with you, Penn. It was not the worst superhero movie I ever watched, but I don't feel like viewing it a second time. It really wasn't. It wasn't worth my time. So, with that said, spoiler alert: I am going to spoil the episode if you have not seen the episode, or excuse me, the movie. Uh, go and watch it, and you can come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. And also remember, if you comment down below in the comment section for this one, you get entered into the contest as long as you comment before New Year's Eve, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, New Year's Eve. There you go. And I'll show you what those prizes are here in a little bit. Oh, so where do I get started? So the opening, everyone talks about and they're like, hey, this is great and everything. Yes, the opening was fun and stuff, but it never really jived with the rest of the movie. Usually what you do is your opening is supposed to kind of tie in with what your message is in the movie. And I get it. You're not supposed to take shortcuts. You're not supposed to cheat. You don't get ahead in life. That's what that whole thing was. And that's kind of what this movie was, I guess, about. But it really it fell short. It really did fall short. Also, the whole thing about this dream stone or the wish stone, whatever you want to call it, was very muddled. Do you have to hold on to it to make the wish in order for the wish to come true? Do you just look at it because it actually says gaze upon me and wish what you want in order to make this happen? Because once Maxwell Lord becomes the wish stone, it's very kind of wishy-washy as to what he does because he beams himself out over televisions, and then anyone who wishes or looks at him and wishes gets their wish, which didn't make any sense, honestly. So, yeah, that was it was very kind of half-baked idea on that. Also with Barbara Minerva, Cheetah, why does she become Cheetah? She used up her one wish. You only get one wish. I understand that Maxwell Lord was doing a reciprocal thing where somebody wished for something and then he said, "Well, in order to grant you your wish, I need this in return." I don't understand where that was coming from, quite honestly, other than the whole monkey paw, conjecture that they're trying to tie it into. It didn't make sense, is what it was. It was very, very half-baked, uh, poorly written, actually, is what it was. It was a poorly written plot point, and really kind of disturbed me and took me out of it a lot. Penn says it bothered me that her wish basically had Steve hijack some poor guy's. So yes, I was going to get to that too, Penn. The other thing is when Diana wishes for Steve to come back, and his soul, I guess, goes into some guy's body, some random dude's body, who doesn't even get a name really, because if you look in the credits, he's literally listed as handsome man. He's listed as handsome man. That's all it is. And I started thinking about this. I'm like, so basically, Steve hijacks this guy's body, commits crimes because he's in the White House committing crimes too. And there's video cameras. Even in the 80s, they had video cameras. I visited the White House in the 80s, and yes, there are video cameras that were there. Actually, I visited it in was that 81 is what it was. It was 81, I believe. So, he's committing crimes with this guy's body, and also he's having sex with Diana. And you don't know if this guy's straight, gay, bi, what he is. So you essentially are using someone else's body for this thing. So I submit on this part. If the genders had been reversed on this and it was a woman whose body had been taken over, and you had the same thing happening where she's having sex with a man, it's problematic. It really is problematic. And it's yeah, it's one of those things that just it was in the back of my head screaming, going, "Oh, wait, you guys didn't think of this. What's going on?" You really shouldn't be doing this part, especially now. You probably could have gotten away with that in the 80s, doing something like that, but now, no, it's entirely frowned upon in society of having something like that done without even explaining any of it, without even discussing any of it between your characters. So yeah, that was a big thing there. Sorry, I'm getting to some of my comments here in the chat. Let me see what's going on here. Penn says, okay, no, I already read that. Stanley says Kristen Wiig was very annoying in the beginning, the awkward scientist. So yes, let me go into that too. Stanley, thanks for reminding me. I'm really sick and tired of having like social outcasts, if you will, nerdy people, shy people, something like that. When they get a taste of power, they become fucking bullies. It's something that's a trope in movies that's been happening quite a bit. And yeah, that's very problematic. That becomes your villain, is someone who has been downtrodden most of their life, that kind of thing. They get a little bit of power and then they become this fucking maniacal bully that is going to beat the shit out of people and take what they want from other people. Fucking stop it. It's just wrong. It really is wrong. Um, yeah, and that's something I've seen quite a few times in movies, especially in superhero movies, and it pisses me off to no fucking end. It really does. So that was, and it wasn't just Barbara Minerva, it was also Maxwell Lord. Once you find out about his background, the same thing happened with him as well. And oh, yeah, it just pisses me off. Um, Jody says, yeah, since the stone was able to do all sorts of magical things, why not just have him back for real in his actual body? Exactly. Why not have Steve be back in his actual body? I don't know why they didn't do this. It was really stupid. Again, it was a half-baked script. You could tell they rushed the script. They didn't do more passes on the script that they should have. And also you could tell the movie was rushed a bit too, because some of the CGI sequences, especially that final fight scene between Diana and the armor, in Asteria's armor and Cheetah, was just bad. I mean, it looked like a video game cut sequence, and I was just going, "Oh, that's bad." And I'm watching it. Remember again, I'm watching this on a 65-inch big screen 4K TV, which again, this is broadcast in 4K for the first time, HBO Max, and I have 4K streaming on my stuff, going on, and I'm sitting there looking at this, going, "Wow, that's just some bad CGI." It really is. And you would think with the amount of money that they spent on this, they could have cleaned that up a bit. Um, yeah. And Jody says they really weren't clear about the rules for the wishes. Also, shouldn't the other wishes could have been, yeah, that was the other main thing, Jody, is you didn't have to have everyone renounce their wishes at the end. Once Maxwell Lord renounced his wish and did not become the stone anymore, all the wishes that he had granted should have gone away because he was no longer the stone at that point. And I agree with you. That was one of the things I thought of. I'm like, well, that's all he needs to do, is he just renounces it and that's it. And then they kind of went a little bit further and you hear everyone renouncing their wishes because the world is supposed to be good and whatnot. And I'm like, no, you got a lot of assholes in the world. There's a lot of people that aren't going to renounce their wishes at this point. So yeah, it was uh it was very, very rushed, poorly written, like I said again, and long. It needed an editor. It really needed an editor badly, badly, badly. So some of the things I did like, I like the explanation for the invisible jet, getting the invisible jet, where she kind of makes it happen, with powers. And I was like, that was kind of cool. Also, how she learns how to fly. That was cool. Um, Also, they mention the Principality of Bialia, which is where the oil sheik was at. Now, for those of you who don't know, and this is a deep cut for most of you, by the way, Bialia is actually where Black Adam comes from, and also Queen Bee comes from that as well. Which I'm fairly sure that's how we're going to have the third villain set up, is going to be Queen Bee, which we already know there's a Wonder Woman 3, just got greenlit today, as a matter of fact, and Patty Jenkins is going to be the director again on that one. I would have preferred to have someone like Deborah Chow take a stab at this, or even Bryce Dallas Howard. Quite honestly, again, after seeing what they've done on The Mandalorian, I want them to do feature films. I know Bryce Dallas Howard has done feature films, but I want them to do feature action films is what I want. Yeah, but there we go. Stanley says, I agree. There is so much magic happening. Why not a complete new Chris Pine? Yeah. Joker says popcorn movie. I don't even know if I can call it a popcorn movie, tell you the truth, Joe. I don't want to go back and watch it because it's too long. It's 2.5 hours long, and it wasn't enjoyable for some things. And Jody says, as for the body thing, I think it was an homage to a sort of that 70s movie. It was kind of a homage to a couple of things. Heaven Can Wait, body switching movies, all that kind of stuff. I understand where it was coming from, Jody, but you can't do it now. It brings up too many morality questions as to what that person is doing with someone else's body. And yeah, it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, I can't recommend this movie. So yeah, I would say it's not worth your time. Uh, where else do we get? Jody says, "Do you get the feeling they probably had a different ending in mind? Like maybe they were originally planning to have Wonder Woman snap Lord's leg?" No, no. This was Patty Jenkins says this was her original intention. She wanted this ending to be the way it was, and didn't want to have the whole blown up kind of big bad fight that she had in the first Wonder Woman, which she said was not her original ending to Wonder Woman, where she fights Ares and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I agree. That was a horrible part of Wonder Woman, the first movie. Ed Burr says, I guess Maxwell didn't even need to hear their wishes to grant. No, he did hear them, Ed. If you are listening to the movie, I have surround sound system going on too, and everyone's whispering their wishes. He says, I hear you," and you hear all the wishes that are happening around him. They're kind of swirling around him, so he hears all the wishes as they're happening, and that's why he's taking also. And he goes, "From you, I'm taking your life force. For you, I'm taking your vitality, and all of this kind of stuff." And he's picking and choosing who he wants to take stuff from as it's happening. Jody, yeah, it's Bialia. That it wasn't. So Kandik is the Egyptian portion of it. Bialia is the current country's name, as it is in the DC universe, I guess you could say. Let's see. Penn says some of the things were interesting, just not enough to make it a great movie. Still not. Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Jody says, totally agree. What worked in the 1970s and 80s probably wouldn't work today. No, that's why we kind of evolve as we go along. That's why a Peck and Paw movie does not work today. You could still try it, but it's going to look really dated. Mufinobi says, yeah, it wasn't the best, a bit too long, and I found the story very muddled. Special effects were very floaty and off. My sister enjoyed it, but I found it disappointing. Some nice elements. Yeah, there was some really weird shit with the special effects, man. I don't know what it was. I was looking at it and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So I don't know. Dante S says, "Don't get me started on this movie. Not good. Wasted my time." Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, "What were the rules for the quid pro quo of the wishes? I didn't understand that." So what he was doing was he was trying to use the monkey paw thing where so the stone originally, when you made the wish, it was supposed to give you your wish and then take away what you valued most. Or yeah. So for Diana, when she wished for Steve, she lost her powers, her Wonder Woman powers. She was losing them slowly but surely. And that's why she was getting, take a bullet. She would actually get hit with a bullet, that kind of thing. And once she renounced the wish, she got her powers back. What Maxwell Lord was doing was people would make a wish and he would take what their most prized possession was, like wealth wise, or what they had physically, is what he was doing. And it didn't make a lot of sense, really. And again, that's why I'm saying this needed to be really written out a little bit better. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. Originally, so Cheetah in modern lore, I guess you could say, in the new comics, Barbara Minerva, Her character was an archaeologist who stumbles upon a ritual uh, and has to drink blood mixed with some berries and whatnot, and it gets the cheetah god powers within her that only work during a full moon because she's not a virgin. There you go. And when she reverts back to her human form in the non-full moon phases, it's kind of crippling to her, like hurts her and all that kind of stuff. That would have been a much more interesting story, tell you the truth, than trying to combine Maxwell Lord with Cheetah and the Dream Stone or the Wish Stone or whatever, and putting that together. It really kind of hurt it. I don't know. Yeah. Mufino says running, floating, and the lasso defied physics and geometry. The CGI fights just look a bit fake. The soundtrack was very, yeah, and the soundtrack was lacking 80s music. And you know what really disturbed me about the 80s stuff too was you see a lot of people, um, I guess, in gluttony, if you will. And yes, I know the 80s were excess and stuff like that, but it wasn't anywhere near what Patty was showing. Patty was just really overdoing it. Uh, Especially the mall scene where you see these fat people sitting at the, in the food court, just eating these giant sandwiches like, and literally doing that. And I was going, wow, okay, so you moved over from parody to social commentary now at this point. And that was another thing that kind of disturbed me in all of this. Um, but one of the best things about it too is about mid credits. You get a mid credit scene. We heard about Asteria and how her armor was forged from all of the Amazonians' armor all together as they were fleeing the world of man, and she was holding back the world of man from the rest of the Amazons. And no one knows what happened to her. And we see in the mid-credits scene, this woman stops a pole from falling onto a woman and her child, and she pushes it off to the side, and it's Linda Carter. And she's Asteria, and it's one of those things that's like, cool, that's actually really kind of cool. I wanted more of that. I wanted more than just a little wink and a nod kind of thing. Um, but that was actually really, really cool. That was like the best part of the movie for me. And it was the very end. So it was just like, okay, you know. Dante S says minor complaint, but why was every guy in the movie a cat caller aside from Steve Rogers? Um, Good question. Ask Patty about that one. Because yeah, that was again one of the things that was kind of disturbing. Yes. I don't know. Stanley Turtle says the panic in the street scene was also very fake. Like, yeah, you know what? It reminded me of if you've ever seen Kentucky Fried Movie. There's a great, it's a series of vignettes, and it's an old Zucker Brothers movie. They're one of their first movies, and throughout the movie, they have Samuel L. Bronkowitz presents, and it was kind of like these disaster movies that he would always do, or comedies. And one was Samuel L. Bronkowitz presents That's Armageddon. And so they have there's this great dialogue where George Lazenby is sitting there having dialogue with this woman, and their dialogue is just circular. It keeps going around and around and around and around and around while shit is blowing up behind them, cars are screeching and fall, and it's the exact same background that you get with this. And it kind of made me laugh. It reminded me of that. I was like, that's Armageddon. Yeah. Stanley Twiddle says all men are pigs, didn't you know? Yeah, of course we are. Jody says, so will Linda Carter return in the third movie? Who knows? We don't know. Well, I think the only other nice guy was the black homeless guy who, yeah. Um, you know, anyway. Jody says, yes. It's like making a 70s movie where everyone and their uncle was always high in every drug, in every drug imaginable. It wasn't always the case. All right, contest time. So you guys want to know what the contest is? So Basically, all you need to do is make a comment as long as you live in the continental United States, because that's all who's going to win here. If you leave a comment down below in the comment section of this video before 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, December 31st, that's New Year's Eve, because I am going to do an episode New Year's Eve announcing the winner. Doesn't make any difference how many comments you leave. You're only getting one entry per name. The grand prize winner is going to get this Wonder Woman Funko invisible jet, and you can see the little minifigure Wonder Woman down there. That is the grand prize for the contest. Okay. The runner-up prize, by the way, is no slouch either, quite honestly. The runner-up gets, let's see if I actually get this right. So it's the Wonder Woman movie. This is from the first Wonder Woman movie, by the way. Bag. It's a bag. And in that bag is going to be a couple of different things. You're going to get this Wonder Woman pin. This is from Comic-Con, by the way. So these were hard to get. These came in, attached to the bags. Also, a pair of Funko Wonder Woman socks. Yes, they're still in the bag. Never been worn. And finally, and then by the way, that's the runner-up prize. It's all that stuff. A Wonder Woman Funko cup, and it comes with a straw as well. So reusable straw. That's what it is right there. So, yes, he's tricking us. There's no plane. That's right, Stanley. It's invisible. See? There's nothing there, nothing to see there. So there you go. Salty Monster says, I would wear the socks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everyone keeps asking me, well, where'd you get all this shit? In previous years, I have been, a subscriber to what was called the DC collectors. Funko had, boxes that they would send out, and you subscribe to it for, I think it was like $30 a month or something like that. And you'd get stuff like Funko. It was all Funko themed gear and whatnot. And that was a Wonder Woman box that they sent me. So I got a lot of Wonder Woman stuff, and I'm not really into Wonder Woman. So, yeah. That's right, Jody. There are some very sweet prizes. So, and since I'm moving, exactly, Stanley, you knew where I was going with this. And since I'm moving, I need to get rid of some stuff. So that's, yeah, I knew there was stuff that was all supposed to go out during the Wonder Woman movie when it was supposed to hit earlier this year. But of course, with the pandemic and everything, there was actually a Wonder Woman. So the first movie actually has that Wonder Woman logo as a pin. I don't know where the pin is anymore. So that was supposed to be part of that prize pack, but instead it ended up with this pin there. Ooh, there you go. You can see what she looks like there. Yeah. You think it's worth the time, Ed? I don't know. It's 2.5 hours, man. If it was if you had half an hour shaved off of it, maybe. I would say yes, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not 2.5 hours long. Stanley Tweedle says, I'm just salty because I'm not in the US. I'm sorry, man. The international shipping rates are a killer. It really is. It costs like $30-$40 to send stuff out to you guys. And I'm not made of money yet, anyway. Yes, it is a cool pin. People were after I wanted the Batman one, is really what I wanted. And no one would trade with me. They're like, oh, you got the Wonder Woman pin. Well, at least I didn't get the Green Arrow pin, which was really bad. That was kind of the bottom tier, I think, one of all of them. Dante S says the one that played Cheetah is much better actress than Kristen Wiig. Yeah, Kristen Wiig is a much better actress than Gal Gadot is. I agree with you on that. She's been in lots of different. She's done a lot of comedy, of course, with SNL, but she's also done serious movies as well, drama, and she holds her own. I think she's been in a movie with Meryl Streep, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember offhand, and I believe she held her own. There you go. Ed Burr says, I thought Gal improved leaps and bounds. She was all right. There's still, I know it's me, but the accent throws me. There's a couple times I'm like, what did she say? And I kind of rewound it a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was something simple too. And I was like, what? And I normally don't have a hard time with accents. Sometimes things just kind of trip me up every now and then. Stanley Tweedle says, I don't like her bumbling full routine. Otherwise, she is good. Oh, and by the way, did anyone see the little cameo from Etta Candy in there as well? She was actually in a photo, is all she was as an older woman. Yeah. Oh, and let's also talk about this whole thing that 70 years, and she's still pining over Chris Pine's character. And no, that was not supposed to be a pun. It just came out that way. But 70 years, 7-0. I'm like, come on, lady. You know, you got to move on at some point. Yeah. Jody says she showed much better range in this one. Wig, though, showed her range in this one. I would have loved to have seen her more, though. Her role could have been written a lot better. If they had just gone with the whole her comic book origins, if you will, of Cheetah, and played the character as evil from the beginning, because that's pretty much what she is. She's evil from the beginning of everything, instead of being this wallflower who gets a taste of power and then becomes evil. Because we never know what happens to her at the end. We don't see what happens to her other than that she got shocked and knocked out, and that when the stone's power dissipates, we see her changing, but we don't see her change all the way back. So we don't know what really happened to Barbara on that one. Yes, Etta was in the rest of her old. Yeah, well, we saw the old picture, the old photo of everyone together, but Etta as an old woman, we saw her, with Diana in a picture sitting up there, which was kind of cool. Like I said, there was little things here and there that were nice in the movie, but overall, the movie really needed a lot more work on the script. It really did. For the main story, it really needed more on the main story. And quite honestly, I would have gone, if I was going to do the storyline they did with Maxwell Lord, I would have made it him more like there was a guy in the 80s, this Vietnamese guy that was on TV constantly about, you could get, more money like me too. And it was supposed to be where he's always on a yacht. He has all these scantily clad women around him. And I swear he was on TV almost like 24/7. You saw ads for him throughout the 80s and into the 90s. Tommy Vu, thank you, Ed Brewer. I know someone knew his name. That's who I would have modeled Maxwell Lord on. I would have totally modeled him on Tommy Vu, because he was the smarmy kind of 80s person and I think he got convicted of fraud and stuff like that too, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that would have been the person who I would have modeled Maxwell Lord's character on, if you wanted to do it that way. Yeah. Jody says, yeah, if they had made her the Cheetah via the ritual thing from the comics, that would have made much cooler. Have her origin distinct and not tied to the wishing stone. Exactly. You could have still have her worked in the antiquities and still find that wishing stone and all that stuff, and you still could have done that that plot, I guess, but why did you need to? It doesn't really need to be done. So, yeah. So again, for me, it's not worth your time. Um, I would say wait till video, but it's already out on HBO Max. And by the way, it's only going to be on HBO Max for like a month. Is it? And then they're going to take it off for a little while. Then it's going to come out on DVD and video on demand and all that kind of stuff. And then people can, and then I think it comes back to HBO. So probably by this summer. Uh, DJ Externity, the moment when she started to fly and she started doing all those poses, I found it pretty corny and funny. Well, yeah, that's Superman. They kind of took it from she cribbed a little bit from the Donner Superman on that one, where he's kind of learning to fly and he's dipping and stuff like that, and yeah. But I mean, the first movie she cribs completely from. There's a scene in the first Donner Superman movie where Lois Lane and Clark get mugged by a guy in the alley. And Patty Jenkins in the first Wonder Woman movie takes that completely and rips it off and puts it in the Wonder Woman movie and does the exact same thing. Uh, but yeah. Jody says, "Ooh, that would have been brilliant, Tommy Vu." Yeah, Tommy Vu he was everywhere in the 80s. You saw him on TV all the time. And that was the character she should have modeled him after, if you're going to go that way. What else we have? Jody says, honestly, if she was faking the whole nice wallflower shtick as part of her cover, that would have been more interesting and undermine the expectations of the nice bumbling professor trip. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, exactly, Jody. She is wearing the exact same outfit that Clark is wearing. She even has the hat. She has the hat and the glasses. I'm not going to get into that because, yeah, that kind of. So, my favorite movie of all time is Superman. It is the Donner Superman movie, the first movie. And granted, I know that's not his cut, if you will. It's not Donner's original cut. I've seen his original cut. I don't remember it all that well, but I know it's there. And I know Maxwell Lord's character is supposed to be based kind of more on Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. And I didn't see that. I didn't see it at all, quite honestly. It would have been better just to go with the Tommy Vu character and just run with it, or even an 80s version of Donald Trump. That's because he was also the same kind of way as Tommy Vu, this slippery snake oil salesman, kind of like he has been for the last 4 years. There we go. But thanks, Jody. Yeah, it's one of those movies I can watch again and again and again and again and again, and I have. And I have like the extended cut version of that. I just looked over because it's sitting right on the top of my DVD piles over there. My DVDs are in piles right now because I'm getting ready to pack them. And literally, if I were to turn this camera around, you would just see devastation all over the rest of this room because this room is a mess right now. Just getting ready for packing and all that kind of stuff. I bought boxes today. Yes. Yes, I bought boxes because I actually want my stuff to survive the trip. All right. I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you, everybody, who joined me today in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. And also, if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well down there. Also, if you want to know when to be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedanimation.com, where I've got my schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages are there as well. All right. Thanks, Jody. Yeah, I'm haven't moved there yet, but like you'll guys will see it when I. You probably won't notice any difference, other than there'll probably be DVDs on one rack and books on the other rack, and yeah. But yeah, you probably won't notice much difference because I like to kind of keep things. I like this background, I really do, and it's one of those things that works out well. Uh, what was that? All that loser talk. Oh yeah, the with Maxwell Lord talking about the loser talk. Yeah, I'm hoping, Ed. I hope there. Yeah, it's been growing steadily but surely. I thank all the new people that have come on and subscribed. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoy what you're seeing here. And again, take a look at the archives. There is tons of stuff. I think I've got over 500 videos now, maybe even over 600 videos. I haven't looked in a little bit, but yeah, I've got them all set up by playlists. So take a look at the playlist, see if something strikes your fancy, and take a look at it because it's there. And yes, I'm not the most polished YouTuber out there. I kind of do seat of your pants, you know, reaction, and not even a reaction video. I don't like calling my stuff reaction videos because I'm not sitting there going, oh my God, oh. I don't do that shit because it's fake. Quite honestly, it really is. Um, yeah, I'm giving you what I think of what I just watched and talking to you guys about it, which is awesome. It's a lot of fun, quite honestly. Like this, what we're doing back and forth. And it's one of those things I kind of miss, like I said, from comic book store days of talking to people about, their favorite comics, their favorite shows, their favorite movies, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how this channel came about, is all of that. So you're a bit too reserved. Maybe open up a bit. Thanks, Ed. Oh man. Jody says, I love the insights mixed with Dennis's trademark dry wit. Sense of humor. Thanks, Jody. Yeah, I'll send you that $5 in the mail. It's on the way. Uh yeah. Um no, it's been like I said, it's been a lot of fun. It's been 2 years now at this channel. And yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. We'll see what happens with the new job, how things pan out, and how I can work things out. So yeah. Um Ed Brewer, Dennis, he's all right. Jay Hicks says, I'm great. Oh, thank you, Jay Hicks. Thank you. All right. With that said, I'm gonna let you guys go. Oh, before I go, let me tell you what I got coming up. Monday, tomorrow will be His Dark Materials. It'll be the season finale of His Dark Materials. Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? Another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I think I might be doing Midnight Sky, the George Clooney Midnight Sky. I think I'm going to do that on Netflix. That might change. We'll know. I'll know later. Um, Wednesday, of course, will be The Expanse, episode 5 of The Expanse. We find out if I'm pretty sure Nancy Gao is dead, but we'll see what happens there. Thursday will be the contest results for this contest for Wonder Woman. We'll find out who won everything. And I still haven't gotten people responding back yet from the Mandalorian one. So I might need to contact a few people there and find out what's going on. Because yeah, I got shit that I need to send out. And it's some good stuff too, Come on. Uh Friday I'm going to be off because of course that is New Year's Day. Saturday will be Saturday morning blast off where it takes us genre news of the weekend, any genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. And Sunday I'll be off. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go at. Stanley Tweedle says I was subscriber 33. Nice. Yeah, it was kind of hidden, I know. Uh, uh, we really oh, thanks, Jody. Stanley Twill says, "I was really happy that Dennis went away from the hate." Yes, I am too. My stomach was much better because of it. Uh, what was very boring? Jay Hicks. Exactly. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for his Dark Materials. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up in a really bad 80s homage, I guess, video. Maybe she hadn't seen Stranger Things, any of the episodes. Oh, Midnight Sky is very boring. Thanks, Jay Hicks. That's what it was. Okay. Well, we'll give it a shot and see what happens. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and remember, wear that mask because shit's still spreading out there.